A good day to you and welcome to the Breakfast Club. My name is Sizwakele Ndlovu and this is Asake Online. On the show today, I'm speaking to Mrs. Nokuthula Hlabangana Mpofu, and she is the Vice President of the Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe. So without further ado, let's just get into our discussion on education and teachers and everything educational in Zimbabwe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please tell us about PTUZ, the Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe. What do you do and the role you play in the education sector?
Okay. Thank you. The Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe is a teachers organization which is non-partisan, an organization that respects the rights of the workers. We represent teachers, or our members include primary, secondary, and tertiary teachers throughout the whole country. We are a trade union. We represent our members in terms of lobbying and advocacy on their behalf. We also make sure or protect their rights when their rights are infringed. We have a very good legal department in our organization. We have 2 full-time lawyers who assist members when they have got legal cases that need to be dealt with. There's a lot that we do besides representing them when it comes to issues of negotiating on their behalf concerning their welfare, salary issues. We also look at helping them out, like issues of bereavement. We also have bereavement schemes that assist our members, those who are PTUZ members. We also do legal trainings. We make sure that all our members are aware of their rights. We realize that most of the cases that we used to have, or that the legal desk deal with, is that our members are ignorant. So now we are rolling out training programs where we make sure that our members don't make mistakes. They know their rights. They know what is right and what is wrong that they're supposed to do at workplaces. We also do social dialogue. We also network with international, regional, and local organizations. We also part and parcel of protection of child labor. We are a member of CACAS, whereby we fight and make sure that no child goes to work, but make sure that they go to the classroom. So we also protect the rights of the children. We also want to make sure that there's equality in schools, outside schools, and it's only the teacher who can do that. We want to also make sure that there's equality between the girl child and the boy child. If we train our members, they're also able to share that with the children in their classroom, so that as they grow up, they know we all have rights as the boy child and the girl child, so that in future we don't have challenges of continuously empowering women, but if we train them young, they'll be equal at the end of the day. We also have empowering programs for our female teachers. We saw there's a gap between the male teacher and the female teacher, to try and encourage our female members to know their rights. Besides knowing their rights, most of them don't take up leadership positions, either at union level or educational level. So we make sure that we train them to know that they also qualify. They also have a right to lead as female teachers as well. Besides socially, for our members, we are part and parcel of a regional organization called ANTUSA, whereby we meet with Southern African Teachers Union, like in South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, and Zambia. We go, like every Easter, we rotate which country is hosting, where we network, where we do educational debates that are similar, what challenges teachers face in SADC as well. Then we also do social, like people play games, ball games, soccer, volleyball, tennis, as teachers, just to make sure that it's not only about business. We also consider that teachers also need that spare time. They also need to socialize and dialogue with other people from other countries. We're also a member of Education International, which is an international organization whereby all teachers' union in the world meet. So we also have friends or from other countries who are teachers' organization, where we share information to know how things are done, how they negotiate with their countries. They also learn from us, we also learn from them. Then we bring that home, we share with others.
Oh, that's a lot of work you do. It's very comprehensive. Yeah. So in carrying out your duties, what have been your challenges? Like in the last year, we've had a COVID pandemic affecting the world. How has this challenged your activities as you go about your business?
We have also been grounded as an organization. Our organization relies on its growth. The more we have more members, the more we survive. You realize the fact that we're grounded, we couldn't move around schools, we couldn't service members. We lost members. Some will feel, why did I join this union? I don't see them anymore. I don't get information. Some are in the rural areas because we've been communicating through WhatsApp. Some don't have networks where they are. So during COVID, it was difficult to communicate with members, to just give them encouragement that we are there. As you could tell, that since lockdown, it was difficult for us to fight to improve the welfare of the teacher. Worst of all, teachers were seated at home. And it was a non-starter with our government to start saying, can you improve our salaries? Now that they're back, we still square one. Like we rely on membership. So the more that we couldn't recruit more members, it affects us financially and in terms of growth as an organization. So we also had members who were affected by COVID who will come to the union for assistance and government, because the government will have failed to assist them.
So as straight to the hottest topic right now, we are seeing headlines OT only 50% of teachers are attending, are going to their workstations, and out of that 50% you'll find that probably half of them are actually teaching, and the teachers are complaining OT they are incapacitated, their salaries are not enough, they are not able to survive, and there have been threats of strikes, there have been strikes. And how have your negotiations gone in talking to the government to say, we have a problem and we need to fix this?
What I can say is, by hearing that, they now know that 50% is not at work. We are happy to hear that. Why? To me, it says a lot. It means they are now aware that teachers are not happy. Because the fact that some are out there, they should do a research why. Why are they out there? We've tried to sit down with them through the Apex Council, but nothing comes out of it. You find them declaring on newspapers that teachers will be getting a 25% without even coming back to the real people, the teachers' union themselves, the stakeholders, to inform us, how did you come up with the 25%? How? And we were supposed to say, no, that is not enough. Even if you say it's not enough, they'll go and just effect it, whether you like it or not. And they promised that another 25% will be coming, but we are saying that's not enough. What makes this worse is that we know there's another department, there are other people who are still government employees who got their salaries increased without sitting down with the government, without negotiating. They just found their salaries double that of the teacher. And we are saying, if we're a priority in this country, if we're a patriotic country, why pay us different? Why not pay us equally? If the money is not there, why is the money there for the other sector of the government? We are saying, treat us equally, pay us well, consider us. Our cause is a genuine one. We are saying the salary that we are getting is not enough. It's not enough. We are not fighting anyone. We are not trying to bring down anyone, but we are saying, look at our situation. Just take about, like currently it's about 19 to 21,000. What do you do with that? We have bills to pay. We have children who go to school. We can't even pay fees for our own children. We can't even have 3 meals a day. I don't have just one child. I have more than 2. I have 3. We have extended families. Everyone is looking up to a teacher to say, she's going to do this, but we can't. And we have tried the proper way of communicating with the employer to say, can you look into our welfare? And we have seen that no action is being taken. That's why we have said, since we are incapacitated, we can't afford to go to work every day. So we'll be able to go to work once or twice in a week. That is what our salary affords us. Because it's not only me who's going to work. It's not only me who's paying bus fare. It's me and my 4 children. And you know us as teachers who want to take our children to boarding schools. But if I tell you, as from the past 2 years, we can't afford. We have our children with us because of the salary issues that we have. So we're just saying, pay us well.
If you khulume uthi 19 to 21,000, is this new increase?
It's the new one.
About?
Yes, it's the new increase.
So this is the highest now. So before that, it was obviously way
13 to 16,000. So we still have a crisis.
And this is in light of which utility bills are going up. IZESA has been rising, and you have a genuine concern to say just basic living before even going to luxuries, would say, of boarding schools. Way of life in jail.
It's just because 3/4 of the teachers, I'll speak on behalf of teachers, don't own any houses. They are paying rentals to their landlords. Before we talk of water and electricity bills, we're talking about a landlord who's expecting almost $100 from a teacher to pay for rentals. Before we go to groceries, before we go to school fees, before we go to transport, the salary is just not enough.
So we see, you were saying, in response, I'm not saying dialogue, because I saw one of your tweets saying, we hear some Public Service Commission and Ministry of Education officials are moving around in B2200s and hard body vehicles, checking if teachers are at work. Is this intimidation? Is this fact-finding? What is going on behind the scenes? Because when you headline, no work, no pay. And it seems to be becoming a stalemate. It doesn't seem like there's dialogue. From what we see on the headlines, what is the situation on the ground now?
The officials from the ministry who are moving around, I think they're doing their duty. It's their duty and responsibility. When they hear a rumor that teachers are not at work, not really hearing a rumor, they received letters from teachers' union informing them that our members will not be going to work every day because of the issue of salaries. So I'm sure they're moving around to confirm if that is what is happening. Maybe some members will fear, or some teachers generally will see that as intimidation. But to me, as a member, as a teacher, I don't see that as intimidation. I see it, I take it as their duty and responsibility. And I think it's fair. They should move around, see what is happening, and go back and report what is happening in the schools. Maybe we'll get a solution. When they know that indeed teachers are not at work, then they'll call the relevant people to come and dialogue with them. Then on the issue of no work, no pay, I think that one is a threat. I don't think it's also fair, because teachers don't eat threats. They have a genuine cause. They're saying, come, we talk, look into our salary. If we can ask one of those officials who's saying no work, no pay, to break down the 20,000 bond for a teacher with 4 children, just break it down for a month. I'm sure that person, we say to that person, can we take away the salary that you are getting and give you 21,000? And we see if that person can survive. We see if that person will come back and say, no work, no pay to us. Because the same as if teachers say, no reasonable pay, no work. If we say no $520 or equivalent bank rate, no work, we will not be fair. But we are saying, let's talk. Why can't they sit down? Why can't they look into our genuine cause and increase our salary? Whereby we know that here we can survive. Here we can work because we love our job. We want to go back and teach full time.
After the lockdown, izikolo zivuliwe, and it was from grade 0 up to upper 6 and tertiary institutions. Were we ready for opening of schools on such a massive scale?
I think opening of schools in March was prematurely. We're not. In as much as the government declared to the public that 750 million has been put aside for giving schools to purchase equipment to protect people from COVID-19. So many schools, if you move around in Bulawayo, don't have adequate PPEs. There's no running water in majority of the schools. There's no sanitizer. Some schools ended up asking parents to pay money specifically so that they can be able to pay. Just look at most of the budgets from these schools. In their budget, there's sanitizer, mask, PPE, which was supposed, what happened to that money? If that money reached schools will not be in this predicament. Schools should be in a better situation. The other issue, I feel we were not supposed to open schools without testing everyone. That's why now we are hearing school ABC, COVID spreading, Matebeleland, Mashonaland, in Bulawayo. Why? Because we all went there without being tested. Those who had COVID brought it to the schools, leading to spreading of it. If only we started by testing everyone and then selected those who had it, we're going to stay at home, and those who didn't will come to school. So I feel it was premature. Secondly, the issue of ratio. The World Health Organization recommended that we should have a ratio of 1:20. Majority, especially of public schools, have pupils up to 80. So where do we get social distance when in a class I'm teaching about 80 students? So it's really difficult. There's no infrastructure. We're supposed to have infrastructure. And also, if they employed more teachers, the teachers that they claim they employed, they're not enough. If they employed more teachers, we're going to split those classes into 3. Then we know we have 2 extra teachers. We're going to teach the other classes. Then we know we don't talk about bloated classrooms. Look at boarding schools, the way we are seeing most of COVID spreading. Because of the dormitories, they are crowded. So there's need really to consider improving infrastructure. And when it comes to health and safety, you find teachers there by the gate, even who head by the gate, doing the sanitization or checking temperature. Why didn't they at least allocate 1 health personnel in every school? Those who have the know-how, you understand. So even when you find some ancillary workers by the gate checking temperature, even though a body temperature is high, that person can decide not to inform the authorities. There are so many cases that are they just keep quiet about them that are happening in schools. Because those people don't know the proper, if there's a health personnel by the gate, she will know to phone the proper, but at schools, the ancillary by the gate discovers temperature is 41, goes to the head, I keep quiet about it, don't tell anyone. So then the next thing, things are spread. You don't blame those people. They don't have the know-how, they don't know the effects of allowing such a child with high temperature to go in and join others. They don't. So it was also the duty and responsibility of the government to make sure before schools open, they sit down with the health sector and find the people or train people who were proper, who will do this properly.
So there was no possible way, from what I'm getting from you, we should have opened, because it's the numbers, it's the awareness, and it's the PPE that was not availed to the schools. So really, would we have been better off Sivale Skolo or allowing certain classes or exam classes like what happened last year to go to school? What do you think would have been the solution?
I think the solution could have been we should have prepared in advance, made sure before we announce opening, everyone is tested. When we tested everyone, we're going to know who are the right people to go back to school, how many teachers are still okay, don't those ones get treatment, they come back. I think things could have gone better, rather than just opening for everyone without doing or taking the proper procedure.
So Katesi, basically we are saying we're balancing my right to health. Let's say I'm a teacher, I'm balancing my right to health and balancing the right to education. So in this case, what should we give way to? In your opinion, COVID, but children have to learn, they've lost out on a year. What should we be giving way to, given that we've already lost so much time?
It will be a challenge to especially the rural schools, but for the urban schools, it will be best to prioritize health and make sure that at least there's online learning that will go through. But knowing most of our public schools can't even afford to make sure that both teachers and pupils, and knowing the majority of the parents that take their children to public schools can't even afford to do the online learning. It's really a tricky situation. In as much as I'm also a parent, I also have children who go to school. In as much as I want them to go to school every day, because of their health, I understand when their schools are saying they're coming twice in a week because they're splitting other classes. But there are schools like those that do special hot sitting. They have more classes. They have 10 classes of about 60 students each. Even if they split them into 2 classes, it's not really practical.
So essentially, the little that we're doing in 1 or 2 days lay vis-a-vis the grand scheme of help might not actually be helping us because we're just seeing the numbers are spiraling.
It's true.
So Katesi, you said the PTUZ also advocates for children's rights.
Yes.
And Katesi, we have this issue of which June exams were cancelled. And we already had a delay with 2020 ZIMSEC exams, and my A-level results only came out in sometime in April, and O-level results are still outstanding. What are we doing for the learner over prepare June, and how can we assist them? Is there a way forward? Can exams be taken in June still? Is there a way to lobby, or really it's a lost cause? There's nothing that can be done for June learners.
Personally, I felt it was a good move to cancel the June exams. Why? Even last year, before the exams were written November, January, this that went up to January, we had tried to make sense with the government to say, we don't think it's fair to make these children right. Really, what did they learn? Not much of the syllabus was covered. You know, the length of our curriculum, it's not really fair. You realize these results that are coming out, only those who were doing, who are in private schools, who are doing online learning, who will do far much better than our children who are in public schools. Really, we're thinking of writing in June when we just opened in March. And the previous year, they did not cover much ground. So to me, I think it was the best way. Remember, these same teachers who were supposed to invigilate June, who were supposed to mark for June, are the same teachers who are supposed to take care of these ones who lost last year in part of January, February. So to me, I think it was a fair, though it was taken last minute because other children were prepared. So psychologically, it affected them, especially those who were supplementing. They were ready to write because they intend to look for jobs, they intend to go to college, they intend to proceed in the education system. Yeah. It was unfortunate, but for the 3/4 of the students, really, I think it was a good move to cancel the June exams because it was going to affect the syllabus coverage of this because the majority of the teachers get involved in the June exam. And also to us as a teachers organization, it was going to give us time to sit down with ZIMSEC. Remember, we had an issue with ZIMSEC for refusing to pay our invigilators. Same with the issue of markers. The ones who were marking these ones that are coming out soon were not paid much. They were staying in places that are not good enough. So we are saying there's still a lot. We also need to lobby the government to fund ZIMSEC. If ZIMSEC can't pay teachers well who are marking, government should also come in and assist them. So to me, the cancellation of June was a good move because these are the same children who lost most of the time. They haven't covered much. Remember, since last year, in part of January, February, they didn't do much. So I felt they were not going to write anything. So now it gives us time so that then they can cover much ground on the curriculum. It's unfortunate to those who were really prepared because it was just dropped last minute to say no more June exams. Those will be affected. But for the majority, I think it was good to cancel that.
So I just want to find out, Uti, in terms of the region and remuneration generally, so I know it was on a social level, you meet up with Zambia, Mozambique, South Africa, but in terms of the region, how do we fare in terms of teachers' remuneration? How would you rate us? Are we middle? Are we the lowest? And for us to justify also, city, there's different sectors within the country that are being paid, but regionally, how do we fare as well?
We are the lowest. We are the lowest in South Africa. People are paid 18,000 rands to 20,000. Botswana, 20,000. Pula, Lesotho. We are the lowest.
Wow.
We are nowhere close or to be halfway of their salary. No, we are still far. We still have a long way to go. And we're not saying what they gave the other government sector, who have double our salaries enough. Theirs is also not enough. What we are asking to say, take us back to our old salary of 520, which equivalent to bank rate. And things will get normal and everyone will be happy.
So the salary Eli Funa is pre-dollarization.
Mm-hmm.
When is that figure? When was that figure in effect?
The last time we got paid in US dollars, the last salary that we were receiving as teachers was $520 US.
And what year was this?
Was it 2016 or 2017?
Okay.
Between 2016 and 2017.
So it's
before removing the dollarization.
Okay. So it's very recent, and the jump from 500 US to
200.
13,000 RTGS is a big jump. What words would you have to say to our government right now? You've said a lot, but in summary, is there anything you'd like to say?
Maybe the way forward, I'll start with the one on concerning COVID. I think it's important. It's not too late to make sure that things are in order in school in terms of the government assisting schools, funding, so that the proper equipment is there in schools, running water, sanitization, mask, all those, and make sure that all schools have a health personnel who is there to assist, right? And it's also important that the government, with immediate effect, take the matter of teachers' welfare as an urgent matter. Honestly speaking, we may talk of testing everyone, providing funding, but as long as the teacher is underpaid in Zimbabwe, the education system is going down. So I think the issue of teacher welfare should be taken with seriousness, should be taken with urgency. Teachers, knowing teachers, they love their job. And they are actually disappointed with the way that the government is treating the matter of teacher welfare. We're thinking by now we should have closed the books of trying to negotiate, trying to convince, to say this is not enough. This is the same government that approves CPAs for ancillary workers. Do you know ancillary workers at a school are earning more than the headmaster of a school? Their current CPA. It was approved by the same government, the most current one. Their salaries are more than teachers' salary.
So
are more than the heads. The ones who work in schools.
Yes. Yes. Cleaning grounds people.
For example, check that of a church school. The salary workers of church schools, they're paid more than what headmasters get, what a general teacher gets. And it's the same government that approves those CPAs. But when it comes to teacher salary, they say, hi, this is enough. 19,000 to 21,000 is enough. So we are saying, let's be realistic. Let's pay teachers well, and there'll be no issue. And to the parents, we are with the parents. We feel for the children. We know we need to protect their rights. But we are saying this same government, if only they could take their time, look at our issue, that it's a genuine cause. It's not that we want to bring the education system down, but we are saying, listen to us. We've tried the proper way of sitting down and negotiating, and we've seen it doesn't bring good results. That's why we've said we're incapacitated. Maybe if we say we're going to work a day or two in a week, maybe they'll reconsider, they'll then take us seriously.
Our crisis is bigger than I actually thought before we had this conversation. And it's going to take a lot of work.
Yes.
And we thank organizations like yours for standing up for the teachers, because the teachers are the backbone of our system, yes, and education is the gateway to so much more. So keep up the good fight. And for now, I would like to end our conversation. Thank you so much for being a part of the Breakfast Club.
Thank you.
And we will be back to hear how the situation, whether the situation has improved or what, because we feel the need for our children to learn. We need our children to get back into the system. We want Zimbabwe to shine again as being the elite in education levels in the
most
region.
educated.
Yes.
It's true.
Thank you so much for being part of the Breakfast Club.
Thank you very much.
That was Mrs. Nokuthula Hlabangana Mpofu, the Vice President of the Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe. The debate and discourse on education is going to go long and far at this rate. But there's so much to discuss. Salaries are nowhere near expectations. Learners are suffering. And we look forward to government actually taking a step to say, look, we hear your plight for our children, for our teachers, and for the society at large. This is Sizwakele Online, the Breakfast Club, and now Sizwakele and Ndlovu. See you next time on other shows.